There's no one I wouldn't fight on the face of the planet after a six pack, and that is no word of a lie.
Let's get into it, man. When you were in Vegas, you made that test cut to 145. There was talks of the Korean Zombie, even maybe Brian Ortega as your next fight. Then the rumors started flying around about Arnold Allen in London. Looks like it's legit. It's not rumors anymore. Tell us how this all happened.
Yeah, like I got back. Well, that was like the last thing. Like I bumped into Sean Shelby for Kai's fight, like a couple of weeks before I come back to New Zealand, and he's just, I guess, like scoping out, like, well, he's like, you going 45 or 50? What's the go? And I said, yeah, like 45, and he just asked me what I wanted, and I said, yeah, Zombie and Ortega. Just, I don't know, maybe he's just trying to gauge like my intentions with the division. And then I was like coming back to New Zealand, and I was sitting in quarantine in New Zealand, and then he messaged me about this fight, March 19th, and yeah, like Arnold Allen, like that fight puts you right back in the mix. Like that's he's number 7 in the division. He's accomplished a lot in the division, an 8-fight win streak. So yeah, like that name definitely entertained me. And the London card, well, funny thing about that, I didn't know it was in London when I accepted the fight. It just had it just said Arnold Allen location TBA, and I was like, oh yeah, it's probably going to be in Vegas. And then I started like telling my coaches and stuff like that. I was like, yeah, I'm fighting March 19th, and they're like, oh, the London card, and I was like, oh, London. I was thinking London. I was like, shit, that's a bit far from New Zealand. That's about as far as you could possibly go from New Zealand. That's the furthest possible place. So, there'll be. But once like the rumor mill started going and people kind of caught wind of it, I've like got a lot of messages from people over that side of the world that are just like excited. They're like pumped that I would come out there and fight. Usually you get to see like big name local guys, and then if you want to see other guys, you'd have to you generally, me, I fight in Australasia or in America. Like those are the two places that I go. But it's a big opportunity to go out there, and I've been to Croatia, but I've never been to the UK. So I'm excited, man. I'm excited to go out there and yeah, put on a good show for all the boys out there for sure.
Yeah, the UK fan base is heavy, man. They really love the sport. And how does it feel for you, man, to become, a draw outside of New Zealand yourself? You know what I mean? Because you are now a draw.
Um, yeah, I don't know. I don't know how I feel about any of that. I don't know. It's not like the way that I look at it. I don't spend time like thinking about that. People obviously, like yell out to you in the street, but I don't know. I just treat it like, when you see like an old friend you haven't seen in a long time, like someone just comes up and goes like, "Hey, like how's it going?" And then you just have like a conversation like a normal person with them. It's yeah, like I've said it before, like you're as famous as you think you are. If you live on your street and you never leave your street, and everyone in your street knows who you are, and you always stay on that street, you never left it, then you're going to be like pretty famous. Like you're famous. You're 100% of your world knows who you are, and so you're incredibly famous. It's like I consider like the world my oyster, and I travel and move around and this and that. So like 0.0000101% of the world of my world like knows who I am, like because I consider like a global scale. So it's when you like put it like that, you're as famous as you think you are.
Is there anybody in your neighborhood that doesn't know who you are and what you do?
Oh, for sure, for
Okay.
sure, without a doubt. There's got to be. Oh, I'm assuming like old lady next door's got like absolutely no clue Absolutely no clue. I trim my hedge last weekend. She's probably got no idea. She's got absolutely no idea who I am, and that's cool. That's fine.
Yeah, a lot of people, they probably are very curious about what changes you made that prompted this move back to featherweight. What kind of magic they did, that they performed in Las Vegas. Could you give us some insight into that? Because you were at featherweight before, and then you went up to lightweight, and now you're back.
Yeah, like I spent like a long portion of my career at that weight class, so it's not. I can't really understand why it's so like unfathomable for everyone to think that I can make the weight. Like I guess everyone's just shocked. Like I just did it to prove that it was like very easy. Like if you do it for absolutely no reason, like you get me a fight and fly me across the world, of course I'm gonna step on the scales at that weight. Like I did it for absolutely no reason. I did it purely to like prove a point. Um, to my coaches, I guess. Like that's like the only real people that I had to get it by or had to convince. But yeah, like it was quite like, I did that in like 2 weeks. Like took a week and a half, week or something after my fight, just eating nachos and drinking beers, and then I was just like, yeah, you know what, I'm gonna do a test cut. Geordie was coming over, fight dietitian was coming over for Brad and Kai's fight, so I was like, oh, maybe I'll jump in like one of their fight weeks and do it then. That'll be easy. But then I started getting invited to people's houses for Thanksgiving. Like Thanksgiving's not a thing where we're from, so I was like, they start talking about all the delicious food at Thanksgiving. So I was like, I kind of want to get it done before Thanksgiving. So I sped the process up a bit, just did it with like Charles at the PI, and yeah, it was pretty straightforward.
How are you doing the cut before you moved up to lightweight? Was it a lot of, the cutting before weigh-ins? Is that what you were doing? But this time the difference was that you were doing it much ahead of time?
Um, like obviously, like the science of it, the whole like science of it has evolved over the years, and it evolves like in this game because it's so new. Like weight cutting, especially in weight cutting and as a part of like, combat sports, like people we considered like geniuses in the field of weight cutting when I was a featherweight are like considered morons now. Like the science of it, the science of it is incomparable. We're talking. I was a featherweight before the UFC PI. I was a featherweight before the UFC made the meals for the fighters on fight week. Like you'd have to fly halfway around the world. You'd have to find food. You'd have to like it was. Now it's like it's idiot proof. Like it's absolutely idiot proof to not get the job done properly. Like science, like everything's easier.
Yeah, definitely with the science and having Jordy. Shout out to Jordy. He's a genius at what he does. Man, the matchup though with Arnold Allen, besides putting you right back into the mix in the featherweight division, what intrigues you about the matchup stylistically?
Um, Nah, like he's a good fighter, but like nah, nothing really. Like he's really good, but not like a big name. So it's like, which is like I can see why I get the fight because I generally get the fights that other people don't want to take. Like that's generally how I wind up with opponents is that they struggle to get matches themselves. So I feel like this is the situation with Arnold Allen where he's a super talented fighter, very technical, well rounded, and not the biggest name fighter. So those are the difficult fights. But no, for sure, it excites me to get out there and get the opportunity to stop a run like that, like undefeated in the UFC, 8-0. Like that's a huge accomplishment in itself to reach that sort of achievement. So the opportunity to get out there and to stop it and to take all of that momentum that he's carrying off those 8 wins and then take it for myself is that's what excites me about this fight.
Yeah, it's a different position from your last 4 fights, where it was big fights, big names. This one is a big fight, but not as a big name. But it does put you in a position where you can get a big fight after that, right, with the big name, which is always great.
Oh, without a doubt, like he's number 7, he's got all that hype. Like, yeah. You not looking past Arnold or anything like that, but yeah, that gets you one of the huge name guys in the division, and that's really like my main motivation for going down a featherweight and for making a cut is to put myself straight back in the mix. Like, just like the reality of the situation. The reality of the situation is I've lost it's like 3 of the top 5 guys in the lightweight division. Like, obviously, blah blah blah, like circumstances, like this and that, like could have been different, and then potentially like the results would change, but that doesn't really excite me. Like treading water at 55 for the next year, like just treading water, fighting back, doing this doesn't excite me. And like the position I'm at now in my career is like I don't need to fight. Like I don't fight for the money. I don't fight for attention or anything like that. I fight like purely to entertain myself. This this is how I have fun. Like I get in the gym to have fun. You're doing all this training, young, fit, make hay while the sun is shining. Like if I'm healthy, and if I'm healthy, I'll take a fight. Like that's turning down a fight and like while you're young and healthy is just unfathomable to me. That's not something I comprehend. Like if you're fit and healthy, like you see, like wait, like man, it's such a small period of time that you have the opportunity to go out there and be young and get after it and really chase goals and do things. So I'm just making the most of that. I'm definitely making the most of that.
Do you think that did they tell you that this will be the co-main event, or any word on that?
I wouldn't have a clue. I wouldn't have a clue. Nah, unless it's unless it's a main event, they don't really give you the heads up about any of that.
Okay.
Yeah, when you're like discussing like opponents and stuff like that, like usually if it's a co-main, like it'll just pop up on the co-main spot. They gotta give you the heads up for the main event. Comes the 5 rounds comes across the screen. You're like, I don't know about a 30-hour flight in 5 rounds. That might be. That'll be a tall order. 3 rounds in 30 hours doesn't sound too bad to me.
Yeah, it's not that bad, man. Not that bad. I just want to go back to lightweight, man. In your lightweight run, you went 8-4, which is a phenomenal feat, man. You went through crazy circumstances in your last few fights. Anything that you can reveal to us behind the scenes stuff that fans don't know about in your last couple of fights that you went through?
Nah. There's things you like. There's things that you just yeah, like it just sounds like excuses at this point, and that's just not. I don't know. Excuses to me are like you're trying. Like there's a lot of people that when you lose, like fall off the bandwagon, and there's like a lot of people that are like half in and half out, and I feel like your excuses are to try and convince, or like not even excuses, but if you give like, oh my this was there, or like you give like a reason, you're almost like trying to convince the people that are like teetering on the edge of whether to like support you or not support you, like you're trying to get them like back on the bandwagon. But I'm not like that's not my intention. Like if you don't want to support me, don't support me. Like being a Dan Hooker fan, I will 100% admit, being a Dan Hooker fan is not the easiest. It's not an easy run. You know what I mean? It's not like being a Khabib fan. Like, that's one guy in the history of the sport that has done that. Being a Dan Hooker fan is a tough road, and if you want to be on that bandwagon, we take the bumpy, we take the off roads. We got there's cracks in our road, there's bumps, there's hills, but it's fun. It's fun. We're here because we like riding roller coasters. We're not here for smooth sailing. If you want smooth sailing, there are plenty of other fighters with nice, pretty records and zeros and this and that. Um, it's not what my story's about. It's not why I do this. It's not how I have fun.
Gotcha. Is the door shut at lightweight, or do you feel like something could take you back there?
Oh, for sure. Like it's a means to an end. So, like it's just like this move just excites me to get back there and get straight in the mix. Like I just don't want to spend the next 12, 18 months like treading water at lightweight. Like that doesn't get me out of bed in the morning. That doesn't excite me. Get straight back in the mix. Down at featherweight, you have some big fights. Like see how things go. Move way up, and then let's see. But yeah, the silly like once the landscape of that division changes, like for sure, it's not. I didn't go away from 55 because like I don't think I can beat those guys. That's not why I wasn't like, oh, I can't beat these guys, or like that's not why I didn't stay at 55. It's like I'm not gonna get. It's more I'm not gonna get the opportunity to fight those guys. Is why I'm going down to 45, and then I can go down to 45 and get a nice undefeated fighter, or be straight back in the mix, or be fighting like top five guys, exciting big names. Like that's now I'm excited again.
For sure. Charles Oliveira, man, he's done some incredible things, man. He's beaten some tough guys. He's the champ now. Now he's targeting Conor McGregor next. He's getting a lot of backlash for that. You know, what do you think's the best option for Oliveira? Do you think that's a smart move by him to target McGregor?
Oh, 100%, 100%, 100%. Like that is the smartest possible move he can make. Like you win that belt, pay-per-view points. Um, you fight Conor McGregor. If you're getting pay-per-view points, you want to fight Conor McGregor and throw him straight back in the mix. It's like, do you want to have what would it be? Do you want to have like 5 fights with uh Gagey, or fight Conor McGregor once and earn the same amount of money? It's like you want to do less work for more money. Like that makes the most sense in the sport. Anyone trying to justify otherwise, I can't. Like I can see where you're coming from. Yeah, this is a sport. Yeah, it's kind of a sport. You know what I mean? It's kind of a sport, but then it's not. It's entertainment, and Conor McGregor gets people to click that little button in the corner and give them their $80, and then you get a nice check in your bank account. And for Charles Oliveira, a guy like that at this stage of his career, that's what he needs to do.
You said it, man. There's a small window in this sport for a lot of these guys, right? And right now, the window is wide open for Oliveira. So why not pull Conor McGregor in?
Oh, for sure, it's for sure. Like what? Like say he loses, like then say he loses the next fight, and then like no back to no pay-per-view money,
Mm-hmm.
and and then like fighting Conor McGregor is a lot less fruitful than it would be with that title.
Definitely, definitely. Yeah, and Gaethje is mad. You know, what I mean, he's already mad. The fight is not even booked. He's already mad. He just thinks it's a possibility, and he's not lying, man. He knows how the sport works. It is a possibility if
That's why.
Connor's
That's
ready.
why he's mad. That's why he's mad. He's pre-mad because he can see what's gonna happen. Like that's just what it is. But the guy sells a ridiculous amount of pay-per-views.
Mm-hmm.
Like that cannot be argued with. And to say that, um, like Charles Oliveira hasn't earned the right to pick a fight. Like he like look at what he's been doing in his last few fights. Like the guy, if anyone, has definitely earned the right to pick a fight or two. You know what I mean? He's not saying he doesn't want to fight Gagey, but he'll fight him. He'll fight him next. He'll fight him after he fights Conor.
All right, and I'm gonna have to ask you about this. Around Christmas, you retweeted Middle Easy, referring to Brendan Schaub talking about Chael Sonnen's hotel incident, and you were agreeing with Schaub about what he said about Jon Jones. What prompted that tweet right there?
Just it is what it is. It's the internet. Like Brendan Schaub was right. He's not wrong. Like I feel like he definitely didn't receive like a lot of criticism for the things that he's definitely done. But no, it wasn't really until he like put back at me. Like I just kind of threw something on the wall of the internet, and then I didn't tag him in it or something like that. And then he just decides like Christmas Day to tag me in. Dan Hangman's been drinking some beers on Christmas Day. Like it's a bad day. It's a bad day to come at me on Twitter. If I had a couple of beers, it's a bad day to come at me on Twitter because I'm gonna shoot back and I'm not gonna bite my tongue as most people usually would. And man, I said what I said, and I stand by it. I would never say anything about someone or to someone and not give them the opportunity to punch me in the face. Like, do I have any kind of malice or ill will towards Jon Jones? Like, definitely not. Like, I don't care. I don't spend any time thinking about Jon Jones. I couldn't care less about Jon Jones. Like, would we ever fight? Like, no. The fight would never make sense. Would I fight him in the car park? If he had a problem with me, of course I would oblige. I would never insult someone and not give them the opportunity to punch me in the face. That's entirely different discussion. But do I harbor any ill will towards Jon Jones? Nah, definitely not.
Is Jon Jones his worst enemy? Is he his worst enemy? When he looks in the mirror, he's his worst enemy, do you think?
Um, I don't know too much about Jon Jones. Like you can only see like what he's done. I don't know like his full history, or I don't have like an in-depth understanding, or I don't read his Wikipedia every day to keep up with what he's doing. It was more that like Chael Sonnen's my guy. Like that's my guy. I view Chael as like a mentor. I follow Chael Sonnen and like he's a good dude. He's a great guy, and he does a lot for the development of the sport. I feel, and as Brendan Schaub said, those are two entirely different situations. And the way that like Jon kind of tried to portray it with Chael was that they were similar. Like he goes out of his way to just be like, look, share the thing of Chael getting arrested, and he's like, see, I'm not gonna judge you, like people judge me. Like he's trying to compare them, but there's like a definite blurred line. Like to me, like defending your wife from people like insulting her is one of the most honorable things you could possibly do. And then to put hands on your wife is one of the most terrible things. I like these are just my like viewpoints on the opinion. My view on the topic. And like as far as I'm concerned, from like what I said, there's like there's only like two arguments when it comes to that, and it's like people that think it's not okay to physically abuse your spouse, and then the other side of it is people that think it's okay if you're really good at a sport. Those people are, excuse my French, like those people are fucking idiots. Like those people are just young and immature, and they're just not up to scratch. Like it's just not okay. That's just the stance that I have. And there's no possible way you could convince me that there's any kind of exception for that.
And the life hack tweet that you put out after Jon Jones responded to you, he deleted his tweet and almost like seemed like he knew he fucked up by by tweeting that out to you. It was an interesting thing why he would delete the tweet, kind of like trying to respond back to you, but we don't know what he's doing, man. We don't know his life, so it's just a funny situation, man.
Get out of here. Get out of here, man. Get out of here. Like, what was he expecting? What was he expecting? Like, he's gonna tweet me like that, and then I'm just gonna sit there and just be like, oh, yeah, I better be quiet. Like, no, you can't. Like, I'm right, you're wrong. Like, if you attack me and I'm in the right, like, I'm gonna green light you. You know what I mean? I'm gonna give you some life hacks. That's what you're gonna get from me. You're gonna get some life hacks if I'm right. And I was right, and there's no justification for how I'm wrong.
Well, I think he didn't expect 3 beers Dan or 4 beers Dan or 6-pack Dan. You know what I mean? I didn't think he expected.
6-pack Dan.
It's a different legend, huh?
It's Christmas Day, my friend. It's Christmas Day. It might have been 6-pack Dan. There's no one I wouldn't fight on the face of the planet after a 6-pack, and that is no word of a lie.
All right, Dan. March 19th, man. UFC London. You got to fight.
We got to fight. We're back out there. It's gonna be fun. It's gonna be fun. Get out to the UK. See a lot of Oh man, I got some. It's cool. It's cool, man. Like no one I know over here is like traveling at the moment besides the team. So not only to travel, but to travel to like places you've never been. Like in the last year, I've spent a couple of months like in Dubai, Vegas. I've been to Vegas a bunch of times, but New York, got to spend some time in New York, and then to get out to the UK. It's I'm grateful for it. I'm stoked to get out there and put on a show.